Hi, this is Donna Taggert, the dietitian for the Department of Aging and Human Services. May is National Osteoporosis Awareness Month. The National Osteoporosis Foundation estimates more than 200 million Americans have osteoporosis, with many millions having low bone mass. Now here's some statistics for us seniors. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 4 men greater than the age of 50 will break a bone due to osteoporosis. Women can lose up to 20% of their bone density 5 to 7 years after menopause, and 1 in 5 women will develop osteoporosis by the age of 70. So what does that mean? Osteoporosis means porous bones. I brought a little piece of Swiss cheese to show you kind of what your bones start to look like when you're getting osteoporosis. You're getting all these holes in your bone. The more holes you have, the more fragile the bone. If you fall, all of a sudden you break it. Sometimes that's the first indication to you that you have osteoporosis, because it's a very silent disease. There are risk factors, some we can't do anything about. Women tend to have more osteoporosis than men. Race, white people and Asians have more osteoporosis than other races. And men, age, just getting older. Can't do much about any of those, but we can help prevent other risk factors like smoking, excessive alcohol, chronic use of some medications. Type 1, type 2 diabetes puts you at risk. Liver disease, gluten issues put you at risk. So if you have any of these risk factors and you have not been evaluated for osteoporosis, I would suggest talking to your doctor. Very simple test, painless, a DEXA scan, just lay on a thing and they can tell you if you're starting to develop osteopenia, which is low bone mass, or in the early stages of osteoporosis. 9 million fractures a year in America are due to osteoporosis. And I said women are more at risk, but men do get osteoporosis too. Statistics show 80,000 men per year break their hips and more likely to break a bone from osteoporosis than getting prostate cancer. So it is real for men as well. The recommendations for osteoporosis prevention have remained pretty much the same for a long time. One is getting regular weight-bearing exercise, jolting your bones, so walking, skipping, jumping, something that's going to put a little jolt on your bones. Talk to your doctor first if you haven't exercised, of course, and see what you need to do. The second one is getting enough calcium. Most people do not get enough calcium, especially as we age. Older people need more calcium than when we did as a little baby, 1,200 milligrams a day. I am putting there will be a link under the descriptions of the video, and there will be a link you can download this calcium calculator and then fill it out. See maybe where you're getting enough calcium or maybe you're not getting enough, and this will help you a lot in changing maybe your habits. Calcium is mostly in dairy, so your yogurts and cheese and milk. In fact, the latest study for aging for bone health says 3 glasses of milk a day for seniors. Again, if you find out you're not getting enough calcium, then a calcium supplement would be appropriate. There is no added benefit if you're already getting enough and you evaluate it. You don't need to do it for added protection. It actually can put you at risk for constipation, perhaps kidney stones. So if you're getting enough from your food, you don't need the supplement. There's lots of calcium supplements out there in all kinds of forms, so you can try different ones to see if you tolerate them. The number one thing is make sure it has a USP seal on it. That means it's been evaluated for purity, for quality, because the FDA does not regulate supplements. Look at the label. How much per serving? How many servings do you need for X amount of calcium? The clue with calcium is you cannot absorb more than about 500 milligrams at a time. So if you need, say, 1,000 milligrams of calcium, don't take 250 or 500 milligrams at the same time. It's not going to work. Spread it out. Do it with a meal. The only exception is if it's a calcium citrate supplement, they have to be on an empty stomach. If you feel gassy, you're getting constipated, back down a little, maybe do 200 milligrams for a week, drink lots more water, see how you do. You might need to change a brand as well, but eventually you can get up to the point where you can tolerate 500. And as if with any supplement, check with your doctor, make sure it's not going to interfere with any medication that you might be on. Okay, also vitamin D is important. The bulk of getting vitamin D is coming from the sun, but unfortunately we slather on sunscreen, we don't get out in the sun as much, maybe live in a climate that, half the winter is cloudy. In that case, you might need a vitamin D supplement as well, because it's not in many foods. It's in salmon, it's in egg yolks, it is in cod liver oil. Did anybody have to drink that as a child? Anyway, it's really not prevalent in foods, and it is in egg yolks too, by the way. But most of the time, you're going to need a supplement if you're very low. Simple blood test by your doctor can tell you, and then you can discuss with them just how much you need to take as far as a supplement. Some other things, getting enough protein, that's important for our bones and also for the collagen that supports the bones. Getting too much protein can be bad for our bones. Getting too little is bad, so just right. And you'd be like, well, how much is that? Join me in August, because I will be doing a whole talk on just protein and how we need to get it, how do we get it, how much do we need. But general rule of thumb is about 30 grams per meal and 15 grams for a snack. Picture a piece of chicken in my palm. That's about 25, 30 grams of protein. So, and you always look on labels. If there's a label, it'll tell you how much protein is in that. Other nutrients that are good for our bones, vitamin K, is in green leafy vegetables, also in prunes that I'm going to talk about in a little while. It's pretty cool about some really exciting studies coming out about prunes and their health for bones as well as your heart. Selenium, it's in Brazil nuts, sardines. Our soil used to have a lot of selenium. It's not so anymore, so fruits and vegetables are pretty low. But if you eat a Brazil nut a day, you probably get the selenium you need. It's good for your helping prevent certain cancers, but also good for your bones. Antioxidants are important. Antioxidants help protect our heart or other things from being damaged. Bones as well. Bones can be damaged by oxidative stress, so antioxidants will protect that. Olive oil, fruits and vegetables, tea, dark chocolate all have antioxidants. And then there's some things that can be really detrimental to our bones. I talked about alcohol. Excessive alcohol is not good for our bones. It reduces the absorption of calcium. It also inhibits an enzyme in our liver that helps convert the vitamin D into its active form that the body can use. So if you drink at all, 1 drink per day for women, 2 for men is what the recommendation is. But again, it's really less alcohol is better. There is some issue with caffeine in relation to bone health, but they found that as long as you're limiting to 3 cups of coffee or tea a day, you're good. Over and above that, like if you're doing like those energy drinks that have a lot of caffeine, you might want to cut back on that. Of course, sodas have a lot of caffeine as well. And the interesting thing is the dark colas, Dr. Pepper and Coke, Pepsi, they have phosphoric acid in them. And that kind of disrupts the balance of calcium phosphorus and ends up pulling calcium out of the bones to get that balance back in. So again, be judicious with your soda drinking, if at all drinking that. Contradictory studies with sodium, but the general consensus is you need to limit your sodium to like 2,300 milligrams a day. That's about a teaspoon of salt to protect our heart, also for the bones. And here's an interesting thing. People who've lost a lot of weight quickly, say bariatric surgery or a diet that you went on, you lost weight fairly quickly, that can put your bones at risk. So if you have had that, maybe get a screening just to check to make sure your bones were not affected negatively by that weight loss. Because of course the weight loss is good for other things, but if it's going to affect your bone, you want to be careful with that. Therapeutic options. Still, dietary and physical activity is the baseline recommendation, the things we talked about dietary-wise. But for decades, there was very few options pharmaceutically. 1996 is when Fosamax came out. It's a drug designed to stop bone loss. There's meds that increase bone mass, Prolia, Forteo. But here's an interesting thing. The study has just, over the past 5 years, come out of Penn State about prunes. You're like, prunes. They have found, they did a huge study, 5 to 6 prunes a day slowed down the turnover of bones by enhancing bone formation. And they were like, wow. In fact, they did the study first with a lot more prunes, and they're like, I don't know if people want to eat this many prunes, so they put it down to 5 or 6, and really good results with increasing and improving bone density. They think it's because prunes are very rich in vitamin K. Not all fruits are. also magnesium, potassium, and one interesting thing called boron, which is really crucial for our bones. Prunes also have collagenic acid that helps shield bone from damage from the oxidation that I was talking about. So they did this study. They found people that ate prunes daily for a year, and they also found that people didn't get tired of that. A lot of studies they do, people are like, oh, I can't do this anymore. But people actually enjoyed eating a serving of prunes every day. You know, they're sweet, they're a little snack. You can just pop them in your mouth or cook with them or whatever. But they found that over that year, the effectiveness could be compared with osteoporotic medications without any side effects. So that's kind of the good news. You know, it also prunes help with gut health. They help with heart health. They've now seen that it works with cognition. So it's helping decrease those things of aging that we all hate when we can't remember stuff and all. So go to californiaprunes.org. You're going to find a lot of good information, lots of recipes, and you can actually read all that research that was done about prunes and just see for yourself how effective eating some prunes a day. Now, if you do that for a year and your bone density test doesn't show any improvement and nothing's doing well, your doctor wants you to start on medications, that's all fine and good. But you know what? It's a chance to try it, and it's going to benefit your health without any other side effects, perhaps, that medications bring. So visit National Osteoporosis Foundation. It's www.nof.org. Lots of tips, lots of recipes, ways to help, prevent falls, because, I go to the doctor, they always first thing they ask me, have you fell this past year? And I'm like, no, not yet. So, it's important to know how to prevent falls, how to protect yourself from those fractures. So hopefully you'll enjoy some prunes today if you don't already. Next month we will be learning how to read a food label and decipher all the stuff that's on the labels of foods, and perhaps delve into a little bit more on labels, supplements as well. So I will see you back here next month. Bye.